Hey guys, Annette here with Foxy. So I'm going to give you just a little tour of a really fun project I'm doing. Now, I'll admit, this project has made my apartment super messy, so I apologize, do not judge. But these are my babies, my pride and joy, so I just had to share them with you. But first, let's just check out how terribly messy things are. Okay, so here on the floor of my apartment, we got this little project going on, and it's pretty disgusting. I have all this dirt and I mean, just look at this. Piles and piles of dirt in here. Little containers, of course, because I have a little planting project going on. And because so, I asked some of my neighbors to donate some things to me. So I have lots of little plastic bottles, containers that I knew they were going to throw away. So I could fill them up with many pounds of potting soil that I purchased from the store. It's kind of crazy how much stuff I got going on here, but it's all for a cool project. So these, I will introduce you, are my babies. Now, looking over here, I've decided to grow my very own topsy-turvy planters. You know those things you see on the infomercials? Well, you can make them on your own with a nice 2-liter bottle of soda. And so I've made these planters. I took them, I cut off the bottoms here, and then I hole punched them. It's really kind of neat. Put some fishing line through them. Voila! Fed the, string the plants through here. And these plants, I have jalapeno plants and then tomato plants. They've been in these bottles for just about 1 day now. Interestingly enough, they're actually growing pretty well in these containers. The funny part is when they're growing in them, they're trying to grow right side up. So they're stringing down, they're pushing down, but now they're trying to go up because, of course, naturally most plants do. But this is a really fun project I've done. It's sort of an inspiration from an old coworker of mine. And then I have your traditional plants. I have a tomato plant here, which is doing very well, very strong. It's very happy. I have this jalapeno plant. Both of these plants I planted maybe in these pots about a week ago, less than that. I just put this tomato plant right here in here. It is a cherry 100 hybrid tomato plant. It's doing all right. It's kind of leaning a little bit, but it'll grow stronger. Then I have the most unhappy plant in the world. This is a jalapeno plant. This one, I think it's going to die. Sometimes when you transplant a plant, let's say I grew everything in here from seed, and in the process you have to grow them in a little dome, and you have to nurture them and let them grow for a few weeks, then you can move them to a bigger container and so on. Well, some of these plants in the process, when you transplant them, when you move from a smaller to a bigger container, they can't really survive very well. And in the process they'll wilt, or maybe you'll get, I've had some fungal worms, some little fungal flies for a little bit. They weren't very fun, but I had a few of those. And it made me sad because all those guys just end up dying. Over here I have a mint plant. This one's sort of growing weird, but it's in a really cool container. See, I made this container out of an old milk carton. And of course I have little packing bubbles in the bottom, because in the bottom of your plant jugs you actually want to not have dirt down there, because if a plant grows and pushes its roots down here, if it has too much water, it'll get what we call root rot. And in that process, it'll get bugs and it'll die, and it's just not very good. The mint plant, I actually had a big plant. I cut it up into small pieces, so this is just one piece of several of that deal. So it's pretty good. Here's another sad plant. It's really sad to see some of these guys die, but this is another pepper plant that just didn't make it. Over here, I have oregano. It's a little fuzzy. This oregano plant, I started weeks ago. It just takes a while for some of these buggers to grow. So, over here, another cherry hybrid 100 tomato. It's doing all right. I just put it in this container, so it's not, sometimes it takes them a few days before they get fully adjusted to it, and their roots will grow strong and do well. And over here I have mint plants. So I have some that aren't doing well, obviously. These were plants that were sprouting a little bit but have died. But the oregano survives, yay! And in here I'm still growing some stuff. In here I have, let's see, I have some green bell peppers that are growing. I love those. So delicious. I have little onions growing over here. Again, I don't know if they'll do that well. And of course cilantro. So any of you Hispanic or Asian people, you know it's the ultimate ingredient to your food. But very cool. I'm always having some sort of project going on here in the apartment. So everything's doing well, but this is one thing that I'm kind of focusing on for summer. Eventually, I plan to take this, you see this rod right here? I plan to take this rod and actually suspend it from the top of my ceiling so the plants will grow and the bottom of them will be directly in the sunlight from the window. I have this very big window here in my apartment, and I think it will serve these guys really well. But for now, they're hanging here because I'm having some problems putting it into the ceiling, but I think it'll change in just a few days. But yeah, this is my apartment for now. A little messy, but I'm doing pretty well. And also, I've been making my own plant fertilizer. I decided that plant fertilizer is too expensive, so I got this jug of water. And actually, you can make your own natural plant fertilizer. It's a pretty simple recipe. You go and buy some Epsom salt. It's a salt you typically find in maybe the bath or the beauty product aisle at your grocery store. And you mix about a tablespoon of that with a gallon of water. You let it, of course, mix in there. And you feed this to your plants like you would any other water about every few days. So every maybe, I'd say 3 to 4 days would probably be good. Once a week is okay too. But this is just a really cool project I've been doing. I'm so proud of it. So my plants are doing well for summer. Hopefully I'll get some stuff that I can eat and appreciate, because back at home, my parents especially, they have a huge garden in our home in Kansas, and we also own a farm. And they've really inspired me, especially my dad, to take appreciation to growing food and doing well with that. So I'm just hoping I can do the same. So shout out to my parents for being awesome and showing me to harvest my own food and how great it is. And hopefully I'll have a few things of my own come the end of summer.